Hi, welcome back to OD YouTube channel and to another pen review. Today I'm reviewing this pen, which is really interesting and quite iconic for the fountain pen world. So the pen that I'm showing you today is the Sheaffer Balance Crimson Glow. And this pen is, as far as I could find, and I searched a lot on that website, which is called sheaffertarga.com, and I saw it was from 1998. This pen was purchased in used, but I don't think much used, condition here in a store in Lisbon. This is a pen that has an interesting design. It has this kind of bullet shape design. It's hard to say exactly. So we can say the cap is cylindrical until one point it tapers down a lot. And the barrel, the same thing, it's cylindrical, and here it starts tapering down, and then it tapers down even more at the tip. So it is interesting in that way. It has two cap rings, the white dot of Sheaffer that meant in the past it had a lifetime warranty. Now it's kind of a logo. It says Sheaffer's here on the clip. It has two gold colored cap bands, and it has this gorgeous material which is called Crimson Glow. It's a red, but it's kind of burgundy red, so it's not a really bright red color. This pen is kind of an homage by Sheaffer, by the Sheaffer from the 1990s, to the Sheaffer of the 1930s, when they made a pen that changed the fountain pen world, which was the Sheaffer Balance. And it changed the fountain pen world in a way because in the 30s, in the beginning of the 30s, the common style of pen was flat top, and because of this pen, it changed to these tapered ends, to a streamlined version, and many pens went to get inspiration by this design. But this pen, although it's very similar, it's really similar to the old one, and if you look at some photos of the old one, it's really the same kind of pen. This one is a modern pen. So let's take a look at it. First, the material is very beautiful. You have a clip which is quite, I would say it's quite stiff, and it is very flat. I don't really think I would enjoy to use this clip a lot because the way it fits. And let me just grab my Rhodia pad here. If you fit this pen on a pocket, it will have all these out of the pocket, so it's quite visible. And imagine that you put a Lamy Safari in a pocket, you will have these visible. So I don't really like that kind of style to put on the pocket, but I don't put my pens on my shirt pocket very often. Sometimes I do when I go to a meeting. I don't take much stuff with me, but usually my pens are carried in a pouch. I don't use the clips that much. So this pen is modern, and let's take a look. It's not available anymore, and let's take a look at some features of it. First, the uncapping. Some people want to know. Very fast uncapping, so a little bit more than half a turn to uncap the pen, and what you get is a black section not matching the rest of the pen, and in that black section you will see, let me just try to change the light a little bit, move this light higher so I can show you properly the nib. It has this beautiful nib that says Sheaffer's and says Feather Touch. It is a 18 karat gold nib, and it is beautiful two-tone nib with the engravings being very, very deep. It looks like they almost deform the nib where they are punched on the nib. And you have a plastic feed. And you have, in the section, you have a gold-colored ring here in the bottom of the section, and the other one on the top or in the bottom of the section, as you prefer, but next to the nib. Some people, and I agree, I wouldn't say it is a design flaw. It is a design characteristic that sometimes makes the ink get a little bit corroded, or not the nib, the ring get a little bit oxidized or corroded or rusted. Because this is a modern pen, it takes the standard Sheaffer, it's standard Sheaffer, but it's proprietary Sheaffer cartridges or converters. And this is quite a beautiful pen, as I told you. So, about the size and some other characteristics, let me just show you. The pen is comfortable to use. It's a little bit thin on the section. The section has this hourglass shape, but it is a little thin. It's more comfortable for me to hold it next to the threads, and it's still long enough to write with if I hold it on the threads. As I tell you, as age goes by, I prefer to hold pens where I find some texture, not because I find them slippery, but I kind of like to feel some texture on my fingers. The pen posts. It doesn't post very securely. It is this kind of posting that the cap moves, but you don't really need to post. I don't like to post pens, and it is quite a perfect pen to write. If you like this section that I find a little bit on the thin side. About the price of this pen can't be found new, or you can find new old stock, but it's no longer produced. And when you look at eBay, you will find prices that go around 150 euros and more, depending on the color. For example, this color seems to be quite rare to find. As I read somewhere, I don't remember now, this red material was a little prone to cracking on the barrel. Now, this pen has some years now. It has more than 20 years old, so I think if it was meant to crack, this example, it would cracked already, and it didn't, so I think we are fine with this. So let me just show you some other pens for comparison. Of course, the obvious comparison is the Wingsung 626, which is a direct, let's call it copy. I'm not putting any moral thing on this being a copy. If I did, I didn't buy it, and I bought two. And this material is also beautiful. And when we uncap both pens, we'll see that even here they are quite similar. They are nice, interesting pens. So let me put this one back here. I just wanted to show some other pens. There is also this pen that I got on the flea market here in Lisbon, which has no branding, and it is a piston filler. And this pen has a design that in a way reminds me also the same overall design, so it really influenced a lot of other pens. And I also want to show you the Leonardo Officina Italiana Furore. This is the Passion Red, and here I want to compare the materials. You can see the Leonardo is really a bright red and the Sheaffer is a burgundy red. And I also have here the Tibaldi Bononia in Martini Olive with a gorgeous material, and also the same kind of shape. This one has 3 cap bands, but very, very similar in many ways, but it doesn't have a ring on the section, and on these other two pens the section is of the same color as the cap and barrel, and on the Sheaffer it doesn't. So if you look at them like this, you see that the Sheaffer nib is a little smaller than the standard number 6 nib, and the pen may be just a little, maybe 2 or 3 millimeters shorter. This one, what you find the biggest difference is the Tibaldi is the girthiest one at the section, which is nice in my opinion. So let me cap these pens, and let me have all these here just for you to see. All these pens are very comparable in terms of shape and size. Let me take these away, and let me bring here for the regular size comparison the Lamy Safari, and you'll see the Lamy Safari is a little bit shorter, not much, but a little bit shorter, and also the Parker Centennial Dufold is a little bit shorter. When you uncap the 3 pens, you will find the Sheaffer to be almost of the same size as the Dufold. Let me align them here, and okay, it's almost the same size but a little shorter, and the nib is a little smaller than the nib of the Parker Dufold, as I told you. Now let's go for the writing sample, and I will move the camera down and show you the pen. And here we have pen and paper, and let's start. So this is the, let's see if it writes, because I had it uncapped for a while to show you. So this is the, okay, it's now skipping. Now it writes, but it was my fault because I had it uncapped to show you. This is the Sheaffer Balance 2 in Crimson Glow with a fine 18 karat gold nib. The ink it has inside is diamine, Inkvent calendar 2021, sorry, Black Ivy. This is an ink that is a kind of thick because it is a sheening ink, so it helps the pen to skip a little bit. But I have to be honest and say that the pen does skip a little bit sometimes on the vertical strokes. It's like if the nib was a little bit away from the section. And the paper is the usual Rhodia.pad. And let me just start by showing you the line. It's very consistent, the vertical with the horizontal lines, and this is with no pressure, this is with some pressure, so you can have a little line variation, but you may need to press it a little bit too hard. One thing that you feel, not the kind of flex, but you find a lot of bounce when you write with it. It's very comfortable to write with, and I really enjoy that characteristic of the pen. If we try to make some reverse writing, it is awful. I can't even write with it. It scratches the paper. About the wetness, I think it's quite wet a pen, but also the ink it remains wet for a long time because it is a sheening ink. What I have to say is that the nib seems to be not to be perfectly, I'm not sure if I can show you that. The tines may not be perfectly aligned. Okay, I don't think I can show it to you. so the tines are not perfectly aligned, but it's quite good to write with regularly, but on the reverse, not really. But who cares and who wants to write with the reverse part of the nib? So let me just put here a longer text and we will end this video. Okay, it's enough. This is the kind of my normal handwriting, so it's not very beautiful, but I don't want to be writing too fast or too slow for you to see some extreme. This is how I write with the pen, and this is how it works. Sometimes this should be, this letter should be a D. Let me try to show you. Should be a D, and when I made this part, it skipped and it fell there. Beyond that, it didn't skip anymore. So it sometimes skips in some vertical lines. I'm not 100% sure of what is happening with the pen, but it's something that we'll have to, with time we'll see, but it's not really a problem. Maybe I'm just not using it that much and long enough. And as you can see, this is a highly shining ink, so these kind of ink sometimes don't help the flow of the pen. So this is all I had to show you today. This is a very beautiful Sheaffer Balance 2. I didn't want to make the video too long, so I didn't bring other Sheaffer pens to the table because I don't have any vintage balance, but I decided to make this a little shorter. However, it's already long, and maybe someday I'll make a collection overview of all my vintage, of all my Sheaffer fountain pens. So this is all for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you like, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me say just thank you for watching, and I hope to meet you here soon for the next video. Bye.